And we are live. Except being we just means me. The gaming werewolf's not going to be here tonight. He is not feeling good. Normally, when one of us don't feel good or if one of us is busy, we just don't do the show. But for whatever reason, I just kind of wanted to do this one tonight. I had some stuff I wanted to get off my chest. And why not? We talk about anything and everything on this show. So I'll be covering some current games. I'm going to be covering some current movie stuff, some classic movie stuff, and a little retro gaming thrown in to boot. And hopefully I'll try to keep the show right around an hour since it's just me. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe a little less, a little more. Don't know yet. But to begin things, wow. Fucking Sony. Holy shit. What a total scumbag move. Paying Capcom. Paying Capcom to keep Resident Evil 8 out of Game Pass. Wow. Fucking shame. The shame. Sony has no shame. My God. Now, let's be honest. Is that a big deal? No. Sony's been paying to keep games off of other platforms for many, many years. It's just how they do business. They are a scummy company. I ain't talking PlayStation. I'm talking Sony. And they really are. They really are the cream of the crop when it comes to truly scumbag companies that will do anything to get your dollar. But wow, paying to keep games off of other platforms. So sad. But even worse, and this is where the true gist of it is, it really kind of, I'll just flat out tell you, this what really kind of pisses me off is the fact that they pay developers to gimp their own game so that the Xbox version will either be exactly the same as the Sony version, or in some cases, it might not even look as good as the Sony version. Sony does pay for that. They are a shitty scumbag company. And the people just, and it's not like it's a big secret. This stuff's known. Get out there and research it. People have known Sony does this. They've done it for many years. And it just kind of, it's Sony. They get away with it. If Microsoft did something like this, holy shit. They would be demanding congressional investigations. Holy crap. It would bring the company down. But nothing, because it's Sony, nothing said. Well, I'm saying something. I'm telling you, this is a scumbag, shitty practice. You know what? If you want to pay the marketing for some game, that's great. Hell, you want to buy the exclusive rights to said game and keep it exclusive on your console. Hey, I got no problem with that. You're paying for it. You're buying those exclusive rights. It'll just be on the PlayStation. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with Microsoft buying games and putting it in Game Pass. And I got no problem with Microsoft getting a second party to do a game and make it exclusive for the Xbox. You're paying for it. So you can keep it to your platform. No problem with that. My problem is when Sony pays somebody to gimp a game. So the PlayStation version will at least look as good. Even though Series X is way more powerful. 30-something% more powerful than the PlayStation 5. Just like the Xbox One X was like 50% more powerful than the PS4 Pro. And yet there were some games that looked exactly the same because Sony pays for that. To me, that is just totally scumbag, slimy practices. practices. Wow. I can barely talk. This is my second podcast today. I did one from 4 o'clock to 6 p.m. and now I'm doing one from 8 till probably only 9 before my voice goes out completely. But anyway, yeah, I guess that's enough about Sony's scumbag practices of paying developers to keep stuff off of Xbox or even GIMP said games. Wow, it's just mind blowing some of the stuff Sony gets away with, but whatever. Next, let's talk about movies. You know what? There's nothing really to talk about. There's still too many theaters closed because of COVID. So forget the whole movie theater experience. But we went a whole year without basically any new movies. So they're slowly being forced to put them on streaming services or direct to video or whatever, or both, streaming and video. Pretty crappy for those involved. They were expecting a theatrical run to make X amount of dollars and then sell it to the streaming services for X amount of dollars and then sell it to video on demand or DVD, Blu-ray, physical media so they can make X amount of dollars. Well, for the last year, they haven't been able to do all that. So it kind of really screwed things up. But I got no problems with them just throwing it on cable, streaming, wherever. You made these movies. How long can you just keep holding them? Oh, theaters open. They'll finally get. Yeah, you know what? Even if they open, you're going to have seats in between, and they're not going to run at full capacity, and you're not going to see the big billion-dollar movies theaters maybe ever. I hope not. I hope those do come back and they start making that kind of money again. But right now is not happening. Okay. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. King Kong versus Godzilla. King Kong did win, by the way. Yeah. Team Kong won. Get over it, you Godzilla freaks. Kong won. That's all I'm saying on that. Anyway, it made pretty decent money considering that the pandemic's still going on and all theaters aren't back open. And even the ones that are open aren't at full capacity. So, yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But till then, you're going to have to look at I like what Warner Brothers did, where they're just dumping day and day into their HBO Max service. It works for me. Mortal Kombat just dropped yesterday. You can watch it at home or you can go to theater to see it. So, after my little tiny rant about the movie theaters and how it's going to be a long time before we get back in there and movies make the kind of money they need to make, we're going to have to get used to different viewing habits and all that. But since that one did just drop, let's talk about it. And I have watched it. Wasn't very good. It's a kung fu movie with a shit ton of CGI. And I know it's based on a video game, blah, blah, blah. You could have done those special effects a lot better. Look at fucking the clips from Shang-Chi. Yeah. Yeah. Marvel kind of knows what they're doing. Anyway, the movie was, it's Mortal Kombat, so it's kind of cool. But it doesn't bother me that it's going to flip-flop. No Johnny Cage. What the fuck? First, there were rumors that they didn't even want Johnny Cage because he was a white guy, and it's not cool to have a white guy to be the best character in your movie. You don't want that, for God's sake. I don't think that was the truth. They made up some new character that's supposed to be an amalgamation of some of the characters that aren't in it, some bullshit like that. I don't know. But apparently at some point they realized people were not happy with them, that Johnny Cage was the coolest character in the game. I didn't say the most popular. I just said the coolest. I think he was the most popular too, at least when the original Mortal Kombat dropped in arcades. That first 6-8 months, Johnny Cage was the most popular character, period. Later, it was Sub-Zero or Scorpion. Yeah, I get that. And that's what this movie focused on. I got no problem with that. In fact, I think that was smart. It just wasn't smart not having an original OG character in your movie that was in the original game. You didn't have to make him a star. He just needed to be in it. Showed me that's lazy writing, Hollywood. You didn't know how, there's too many characters. Well, let's get rid of this one. Yeah, that's crap. So your movie kind of deserves to fail. It does. I mean, I'm sorry. You just don't do that. That'd be like making a Street Fighter movie and not have the main plot about Ken and Ray. Oh, wait, they did that. That was pretty fucking stupid too, wasn't it? Having Jean-Claude Van Damme play the one American character in Street Fighter that was some military guy. I don't even know the character's name because nobody ever cared about that character. God, that was a horrible movie. I actually think this version of wow, I'm losing it, man. Mortal Kombat. It just flew out of my head for a second. This version of Mortal Kombat is at least better than that Street Fighter movie, and it is. It's not much better, but it's a little bit better. The original Mortal Kombat movie is way better than this one, by the way. You can tell I don't want to say they spent more money. I don't know what dollars they spent back then based on how much you can get up on the screen, for your budget today based on back then. I honestly don't know what the differences is, and I don't even know what they spent on this one. But it seemed like they were a little CGI happy. And that's not the best CGI in the world. It's not the worst either. I'm not totally shitting on it. And I think the movie will do all right, and it'll get a good home theater run or home video run, whatever you want to call it. But it ain't on the level of Marvel stuff. So, yeah, not even close. And I seen some review where they tried to say, I guess just off the previews and things, I don't think they'd actually seen the movie yet, that this movie got rid of the video game jinx. I'm like, really? Did you fucking watch it? Because I watched it, and it's not that good a movie. There's been better video game movie adaptions. Trust me, there has. But whatever. Anything else on that? I don't think there is. Not much else to say other than, and I'm not totally shitting on the movie other than I'm shitting on them for not having Johnny Cage in it. Yeah, that's my right. And I'm not saying it's a horrible movie. It's actually not that bad. It's watchable. But considering how good, go watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Not talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that TV stuff. Go watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Wow. And then compare it to Mortal Kombat. No, there is no comparison. Mortal Kombat just is not on that kind of level. And that's what we kind of hoped for. And until these people making these video game movies, until somebody gets it, that they've got to put that level of budget and expertise into it. Yeah. So I guess Sonic the Hedgehog is still the king of all video game movies. I don't know. I didn't actually even see Sonic, to be honest. I'll watch it one of these days whenever it's on some streaming service or another. I'll give it a watch. But anyway, let's move on. The point is, Mortal Kombat, the movies, it's okay. Not giving it any stars or anything like that. I'm just telling you it's okay. But now, how about let's talk some vintage movie stuff. I'm going to turn on my camera so nobody freak out when they see me. I'm an old guy. Bam. Look behind this mug. Boy, look at that flat topo. Whoa. High and tight and sweet. Anyway, but look back there. You see that? That's a laser disc, boys and girls. I don't have my standalone camera hooked up right now. It's sitting on the shelf to the left. I'm just using the camera that's in my Surface Pro, so I have to hold things up to it. And the shiny things you're seeing is like a plastic case to help preserve the laser disc. But man, when movies came on these, that was special. For home video, no, don't get me wrong, 4K is 100 times better. There's a reason why this is a dead format. There's a reason for that, people. But I have a crap ton of laser discs, and I'm never getting rid of them. Maybe when I die, my kids will get rid of them, but I'm never getting rid of them. And I don't care if they're not worth anything or if they're worth a ton of money. Not getting rid of them, because that, look at that. That's just the coolest thing in the fucking world. It is. And, oh, I hope I don't screw this up, because again, I don't have my, whoa, where did I go? Here I am. Whoa. You see that? Yeah. That is a CRT, cathode ray television. A tube TV. That's what we used to watch back in the day, children. Yeah. I got a couple of those. I had more and I got rid of them. Now I'm down to just two. The other one's over there. You can't see it, but whatever. My fat head's in the way. There it is. See it? Right? Right there. Just that shoulder. Anyway. Okay, enough of that silliness. I'm going to leave the camera on for another minute or two, because it kind of leads into my retro gaming section of the podcast. The Laserdisc thing, I mean, that is what it is. I got hundreds of them. I just thought I'd show one off. I used to do a thing on Twitter called Laserdisc Pick of the Day, and I'd take a nice, beautiful picture of a Laserdisc or two or three, sometimes just one, and tweet that out. I may bring that back. I got a lot of traction with that. People really seem to like it, because they don't, honestly, not that many people have Laserdisc these days. But anyway, this is moving on to the retro portion of the show. I'm struggling here for a second because of my microphone. My snowball is falling. Okay, hold on. This is pretty awesome little product that you can buy from China. It's not special that you can't get it. It's not rare. You can just order one, pay for it. They're a little on the pricey side. It says MVS right there, but this is way much more than that. There's an MVS slot. That's to play Neo Geo games, by the way. Some people that don't know what MVS is. The importance of that, I'm already tired of holding this up. There's Sega Saturn ports for controllers, and Neo Geo. So it'll take Neo Geo controller and Saturn. What makes this so special is, see right below the Neo Geo logo, and then where it says SNK, and this says and Super Gun. Okay, this is also a Super Gun. That's what's so awesome about it, because I can take any arcade card, any of the classics, say Capcom, CPS 1 or 2, was it CPS 3? I don't even know. Whatever. The classic arcade boards from those great machines that had like the Street Fighters and Street Fighter Alpha and that kind of stuff in them. I can take one of those cards and directly hook it to this baby and then run that over to my tube television I showed you a second ago, my CRT. And this has the red, green, and the blue, which is component out. It also has composite, but don't use that. And it's got S-Video, but don't use that. Use the component. And wow. And then use, I can't lift it up. There's something holding it down. Daggone it. Oh, it was just the cord. And then you hook something like this up to it. Remember I said it had the Saturn controller port to use Saturn controllers. This is a Saturn controller. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful product. The Virtua Stick. Sega Saturn right there across the top. Baby. It is a wondrous piece of equipment. Wondrous to play arcade games. But like I said, the Super Gun, an arcade card, the controller, all to a tube TV, and it's just a wondrous thing. Currently, I do not own a single arcade card because they are highly sought after, highly collectible, and very expensive. But right place, right time. Hopefully, I'll get some arcade boards. I could order consoleized boards that look almost like a cartridge for some of the later arcade boards systems that work with this, and they're not too expensive. I can get those off of that Chinese website that we all love, but that's all kind of expensive, to be honest. And some of it's kind of, it's hard to get some of that stuff as I mess with my hair. Now, here's a product. This is all retro gaming section, by the way. This is the original Retron 3, not the 5. And they sell another version of this out today. And there's another company that sells this same product. It's just a different company selling it. But this will let you play Genesis, Super Nintendo, and regular NES games. It lets you use controllers. That's the Super Nintendo controllers right up front. The left side's got NES, right side's got Genesis out. So you can use the actual real controllers. And then you buy EverDrives for all 3 systems. Download all those ROMs and put it on your little SD card and drop that into the EverDrive. Pop it into here, and then you have every game that ever came out for those systems, and they play perfect. Perfect. It's really simple. It's not hard to do, and it's fairly inexpensive to give you that. That's close to 3,000 games for these 3 systems. I guess if you count the Japan only games, it'd be well over 3,000. But I'm just going for the U.S. releases and a few of the Japanese games that Don't matter if they're in English or not. But anyway, this stuff's available. It's not that expensive. So you can do some really cool retro gaming stuff without spending a fortune. And there's even easier things than these. You can order retro pies and things like that. If you don't know what that stuff is, it's okay. You got a phone, I'm sure, or you're watching this on a computer. Google it. Look that stuff up. It's well worth doing. Trust me. It's well worth it. Whereas this thing, this might be the extreme of the hobby, getting something like this. But yeah, I love crap like this. I've got a consoleized MVS already. But this being a super gun, it takes it to the next level. And my consoleized one, it'll actually let you hook MVS boards without the consoleized cases around them and stuff. It'll take them that way where you don't have to put them in the cartridge slot. Using the JAMA connector thingy. But yeah, enough on that. My other take on retro gaming, and you may have heard me talk about this before on here with Gaming Werewolf, is my love for the minis. I got too many of them to try and show you. I pretty much got them all. Some I got two of because I'll order the Japanese version of it as well as having the US version. And I've showed you my little props for the night. That was pretty good. I showed you that Saturn Virtual Stick, the Neo Geo, consoleized Neo Geo and Super Gun, and a laser disc of, what is that? It was the Evil Dead, wasn't it? Evil Dead 2. Yeah, that's pretty badass. One last look at that. See that? Yeah. It's pretty badass. But that portion of the show is now over. Oh, that feels good. I prefer my little logo up on the screen. But I don't think we're going to make it a full hour tonight, boys and girls. Those three topics that we just covered. Yeah, we're only 30 minutes in. When you add two people, see, that other person talks a little bit and it pads things out. When you're doing a show by yourself, you got to be prepared. But anyway, let me get back to the minis. You should hunt them down and try to get a hold of them. Because even those things will go away. And if you don't have them, you won't have them. You won't be able to buy them in the future. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different products. The Misters, if you've never heard of that one, that lets you put all these different modules, and a module for every system imaginable, a module for the Super Nintendo, a module for the Genesis, and so on and so on. That stuff's pretty cool, but again, it gets crazy pricey. That's why I showed you that Retron 3. That was cheap. And EverDrives, yeah, they can be a little bit pricey, anywhere from $80 to $120, $130, depending on the system that you're getting it for. But you can buy Chinese knockoffs of EverDrives. They don't cost nearly that price. Now, they're not guaranteed to work as well, and they might crap out on you, but you ought to just buy another one. If you don't have the money up front to go buy the real EverDrives from the Russian dude, Crix, that sells them, there's options, is all I was getting at. But these minis that are out, if you don't have them, man, you better get them. They look great, and it's a very elegant solution for playing old games on modern televisions. They already got your HDMI output. Most of them are at 720p, and that's a big jump. I know, it's a huge jump. So maybe I wouldn't be hooking those up to the really big sets. And I don't know. I've got a pretty big one I hook mine up to. It don't look bad at all. Well, maybe some of the NES games do, because that's a big jump from 720p to 4K. But anyway, they're just cool to have, and I even got a couple of them that you can still hook to the old tube TVs. You know, you get the option of HDMI out or component out from that same Chinese website that we all know and love. You can order the various systems that do the same thing, that have thousands and thousands of games preloaded on them. What's the quality? Not the best in the world, but they do work. Some look like fight sticks or joysticks, 1 and 2 player versions. Some you just get the little box and you got to figure out how to, get it to your television and all that. But if you're buying it, you'll know what to do. But anyway, I just wanted to get it out there that you really love some retro gaming. There's lots of great options. And it's not just for a few games. You get a lot. It didn't have to cost you a fortune. And the cool thing about it is anybody can do it. You don't got to be smart. None of it's that complicated to hook up and do. You don't have to be able to hack a system, or you don't have to be able to hotwire or solder and all that stuff. There's just a lot of ways to play retro games on modern systems and old systems. I mean, I've still got tube TVs. I ain't suggesting you go out and buy one of those tube TVs. They're humongous and they're heavy, and once you go buy one, you're back stuck with it, and it's hard to move it around. But there are elegant ways. Many of these systems, like I said, have the minis that have HDMI already built into them, and they look fine. The game's upscaled to 1080p or 4K. Plenty of cool things to do. Let's come back around to the movies and TV, since we did talk about Mortal Kombat. Let's go to the flip side of that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Man, that was good stuff. Really good stuff. In fact, my biggest criticism of it is not nearly long enough. I wanted longer episodes, and I wanted way more episodes. I know it's a budget thing. They spent a crap ton of money on it, but yeah, it was still television. Even for Marvel. Yeah, they cut some, I don't say they cut corners. You could tell they were things where they were saving money. It wasn't all, it wasn't nearly to the level of their movies. It's just, let's be honest, they're not. But they're better than almost anything else that's out there. I'll give them that. They're blowing away the competition. Very enjoyable. Let's hope Loki coming up is just as good. And the one before, with I can never think of her name. Olsen. I always think of the actress's name, but the Marvel character, she, as far as I'm concerned, was a minor character, and her robot husband or whatever. Yeah, they were been in the Avengers forever, but I still consider them minor characters. But that was a good show too. Wasn't as good as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it was still really good. But we don't get Loki till like June. Crap. Why do you gotta make us wait that long? We only waited like 2 weeks after the previous one then we got Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was only 6 episodes. Come on, Marvel, you can do better. Maybe you can't make the shows any better because they're that damn good, but you can make more of them. excuse me, I'm knocking back some iced tea. How rude of me, right in front of my microphone. That probably sounded gross. But like I said, this was my second podcast, and it was like wham, bam, one right after the other, basically. The other podcast was UK Daz's show. It was a good show. I highly recommend everybody to hunt it down. Just go to YouTube, type in Daz, D-A-Z. You'll find him. Like myself, he had a stroke about a little over a year ago. I had mine 7 months ago. 6 months ago. Mine's been 6 months. His has been a little over a year, and his was more severe than mine. Thank God I recovered quite well from mine. But we joke around a little bit about that. Some of that was like pre-show joking around, but then even during the show, yeah. But a lot of good people on it. I'm not gonna list all their names. Good people though. Just go to his channel and watch it. Give it a look see. And then normally on Thursdays, I do the Next Gen podcast with Mads Gaming and Jamie Moran. We've been off for I think it's been 3 weeks now. Yeah. So by the time we do it next week, it'll have been 4 weeks. So been a month in between shows. But that is just due to Mads' job. That's fine. We'll be back. Homework, things always take importance. In fact, if it wasn't for the whole Sony thing kind of pissing me off and I wanted to go on my little mini rant that I did at the start of this show, I wouldn't be doing this tonight. I would have been like, when the Gaming Werewolf said he couldn't come on, normally I'm like, cool, man, we'll do it next week. Talk to you then. But I wanted to get that off my chest about how scummy and slimy Sony is for gimping games, or paying to have games gimped and paying to have games held off of Game Pass. It's just garbage, they don't need to do shit like that. Just make good games and you'll be all right. You don't need to do all this slimy crap that Sony does. I've never understood it, why they could be such a dirty company. And that's kind of what Sony is. They're a dirty company. But they own plenty of game developers that make great games that are owned by Sony. And they generally put out really good consoles. They're not always of the highest quality. Sometimes Sony uses cheaper parts and things. They've been known to do that. I mean, come on. The lasers in the PS1 and the PS2. Holy crap. Let's not even go into how cheap and crappy those things were. But for the most part, the PlayStations have all been fine. Better than average, put it that way. It's just Xbox has always kind of made better consoles that performed better. And that's the flat out truth. And actually, up until halfway through the life of the Xbox One, the Xbox games were better than what you could get on Sony. OG Xbox had better games. They did. The Xbox 360 had better games than Sony had. Get over it, people. Stop your crying. You know it's true. Yeah, I'll take Gears of War over God of War any day of the week. That's all I'm saying. But at some point, because Microsoft relied on second parties and some games didn't go the way they thought they'd go, so they didn't get the sequels, or they didn't want sequels to them. And then they had some other games they had to cancel for all kinds of crazy reasons. This, that, and another. At some point, they realized that this wasn't financially feasible to keep going that same way, where you were basically just buying games and having somebody else make it and put it on your system. So they had to actually start buying development companies. And wow, did they ever. They've bought a crap ton. And now they're back on top. They got the best games and they got the best system. So that's cool. Xbox rocks. It's way better than the PlayStation. It's higher quality, more powerful, and now they have better games. So that's good on them. But what I'm getting at is all those slimy things that Sony does, they don't have to do. They've got good games too. They really do. I'm not knocking their games. I might say that Xbox has good games, but that's eye beholder thing. What I think not necessarily mean what is. If you like Sony games better, then yeah, that's fine. All the sheer amount of AAAs coming for Xbox they got lined up is just kind of crushing Sony right now. But again, that's no reason to go do slimy stuff and pay to have games kept off of Game Pass. Or worse, have the Xbox version of the game is gimped so that, the PlayStation game looks as good, even though it's the much weaker system. But whatever. Enough of that. I think that's about it for the show. We're going to be at 45 minutes, which is pretty brisk for a podcast. But considering it was just me, and trust me, I've done over 2-hour podcasts by myself before. But yeah, that's not a wise thing to do. And there just wasn't enough new stuff out on movies to start reviewing a bunch of stuff right yet. I'd like to do separate movie reviews where the whole video is just on reviewing a movie or a game. I don't want to be doing that during the podcast. I just happened to bring up a couple of things. Because if Gaming Werewolf would have been here tonight, we would have discussed Mortal Kombat the movie. And he may love that thing, by the way. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it yet. We'll find his feelings out on it next week. I'm just telling you, I didn't think it was that good. And I was really disappointed there was no Johnny Cage. That's just me. So anyway, you guys know you can find me on Twitter, Mojo_Blues1. I am all over Twitter. You can find me on YouTube right here where you're watching this glorious one-man podcast. Again, it's under Mojo Blues _Blues 1. Sometimes I list them as BDXP, Best Damn Xbox Podcast, or I list it as the Everything But the Kitchen Sink Podcast because we talk about everything. And on that note, we're going to call it a night, and we'll see you again next week when it'll be both of us will be here, myself and the Gaming Werewolf. Till then, y'all have a wonderful week. Keep gaming, keep watching movies. Next week, we might even bring some music in. Maybe I'll bust out some vinyl. We'll see. I just bought a copy of double album, The White Stripes, Greatest Hits, 180-gram vinyl. It's pretty awesome. It's a lot of songs. The White Stripes, pretty famous for like 3-minute songs. Yeah, they're not doing the 10, 12-minute, Led Zeppelin type tunes. They're quick, down and dirty, fast rock. But I'll leave you on this note until next week. The dude in the White Stripes might have been the musical genius. She might have wrote the songs and all that. But Meg White is a fucking rock star.